What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Born Ballin', and we have the results of our draft. Let's break down some of the winners and some of the losers. We're gonna hop right into it at the top of the draft. Now, there honestly were three number one picks in this draft. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley all would have went number one last year, honestly, over Anthony Edwards. Evan Mobley is a better big man than Wiseman, at least a better prospect right now. So let's talk about those teams and what those three picks mean for them. Starting with the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham is a all-time player. He is a all-time prospect already. Jay Bilas said he's the most complete player in the draft that he has ever seen. And Jay Bilas has been doing this for over 30 years. Cade is going to be special, very special. As a primary ball handler, it's only going to make Killian Hayes look even better as a secondary ball handler. They already have a 20-point scorer in Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, another young player. They got Luka Garza undrafted. They made some very nice moves this draft. JT Thor in the second round. Look out for the Pistons. They were very, very scrappy all year last year. Literally every single game. They probably lost 85% of their games last year, but they were scrappy every single one. So watch out for them. Early prediction, hot take, they're going to be in the play-in for sure. Cade is that good. Now, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had 3 first-round draft picks, 4 first-round draft picks, and they capitalized on every single one. Starting with the second pick, Jalen Green, definitely the best shooting guard in this class. Would he have gotten picked over Anthony Edwards? Personally, I definitely would have taken him over Anthony Edwards. The athleticism, I could see why somebody would lean towards Ant, but personally, Jalen Green's going to be a special player. So him next to KPJ, who already said he's a point guard, you got your backcourt for the future. You are good. Christian Wood is going to be perfect next to these guys. They picked up some great young talent later in the first round too. Usman Garbra and Josh Christopher right back to back. And they picked up Sengun. So their front court and their summer league team, their summer league team is going to be so fun to watch. Watch out for a video coming soon where I'm ranking some of these summer league teams. The Rockets, they're easily going to be top 3. I don't know where they're going to be right now, but easily top 3 for sure. Josh Christopher and Jalen Green already have a connection, so that's going to work perfectly for Houston. And then Evan Mobley to the Cavs. We don't know yet if they're going to end up keeping Jarrett Allen, but honestly, I really hope they do. I hope they do. I've been waiting for somebody to try to run Twin Towers forever, for the longest. If they can try it, that would be perfect. You're going to have 2 small guards in your backcourt. Let's just have a front court of giants that are protecting them. The Sexland backcourt is nice. So if you're going to run Twin Towers, that's the perfect mesh together. And Okoro, the perfect 3-and-D player, bringing it all together. So I can't wait to see what that looks like. Now, let's talk about 3 more teams that I think were big winners in the draft last night. The first being the Orlando Magic. The Magic had pick number 5 and got a blessing from above. Scotty Barnes went to Toronto at 4, so that means they got to take Jalen Suggs, who was at the top of their draft board, at number 5. His floor is literally NBA stud. That's his floor. He's going to be a great player in this league. His ceiling, who knows? Is it higher than Jalen Green's? Not personally, I don't think so, but he's going to have this chip on his shoulder of Toronto not picking him. He gets to play with his friend RJ, who he already won a gold medal with. They're going to have an instant connection on the court. Another summer league team I'm looking forward to. They picked up Franz Wagner with their 8th pick. He's NBA ready too. They have 2 guys who are going to be playing for them day 1. Franz Wagner is a big from Michigan who can play the 4 and the 5. He's going to be able to play some 3 eventually. And if he gets that 3-pointer down, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. They're getting Isaac back soon too. So things in Orlando are looking up. Like they're about to be on the rise. So I definitely think that they won that Vucevic trade, getting all those picks and seeing that it turned into Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner. Oh, you got a plethora of assets in your backcourt. Gary Harris back there, he can help a team win. Terrence Ross, Cole Anthony, like I said, RJ Hampton. You guys are ready, set to go. The next team I have is the Charlotte Hornets. They took a big W in last year's draft, getting LaMelo Ball, And now they have his backcourt running mate in James Bouknight. Bouknight is a leaper, high flyer, and he is a scorer at all 3 levels. Not all the way yet, but if he hits close to his ceiling, maybe even if he doesn't hit his whole ceiling, he's going to be a 3-level scorer, already a solid finisher. Above the rim. He loves to play above the rim. We all know about LaMelo Ball's passing abilities, how he can hit cutters in the lane. James Bouknight, just use your athleticism to the best of your abilities. You and Kai Jones, because they picked up Kai Jones. I told y'all he was a perfect fit. I told y'all he was the perfect fit, and they went and grabbed him. And they grabbed a great veteran for him to learn from in Miles Plumlee. That was a trade that happened before the draft. So they have Plumlee, Bouknight, and Kai Jones on draft night. That is a haul. That is a haul. The Hornets are going to be looking really, really good. They were kind of pushing for that play-in spot last year before LaMelo got hurt. Can they do it again? Will they get closer? What is Bouknight's ceiling? Let me know what you guys think about Bouknight. He's one of the most enigmatic players in this league. So could he hit his ceiling? Will he be a bust? Not sure. He looked a little disappointed out there. Pretty sure he just didn't want to fall that low, being in your hometown and not getting picked in the top 10. A little disappointing. Will that create a chip on his shoulder? Who knows? I do know Kai Jones is going to catch lobs day 1 from LaMelo, though. Day 1. That's going to be exciting. If they can turn him into something, at the least he's going to be a very athletic big, but if they can get his skills up too, he's got that shot, they can continue to develop him. Looking up in Charlotte. Michael Jordan might go get him a GM chip. We're going to see. Now, the last team I have is a team that did not have a top pick, but honestly, they picked up 3 steals in this draft. BJ Boston, Keon Johnson, and Jason Preston. Keon Johnson out of Tennessee is a high flyer, and he models his game after Kawhi, so getting to play next to Kawhi, we're going to see what that turns out into. Honestly, we've seen these athletes be able to develop skills. Jaylen Brown, Bradley Beal getting his dribbling, like I said last video. We've seen these athletes develop skills and turn themselves into even better prospects. You letting him fall into the late first round and having a chip on his shoulder, oh, he's going to be coming for heads. Watch your head. Next, BJ Boston out of Kentucky. Y'all know about the Kentucky boys. If you don't know about the Kentucky boys, I don't know what you're doing. They are all hoopers, every single one of them. He had a very down year last year, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a hooper. Literally 8 months ago, ESPN had him as a top 3 pick. So you know the talent is there. Yes, it didn't look the best, but Kuminga didn't look the best last year either. But he's only 18. He played in the G League. Situations play more into why a player doesn't look as good or why they don't develop a certain way more than people really, really talk about. So I think BJ Boston was one of those situations, and he's going to turn into a really great player. That last one, Jason Preston, easily the best story in the draft. 6 foot, 140 as a senior, goes to UCF, hoops. He didn't want to actually be on the team. His friend convinced him to be on the team. A scout saw him, recruited him. They moved him up through the program. And then he posted his highlight tape on Twitter and got an offer from Ohio. And now he's getting drafted from Ohio. That's a beautiful story, man. And he is going to be a hooper for them. Nice backup point guard. The biggest thing that the Clippers were able to do last night was draft some players that can play for them tomorrow so they can re-sign Reggie Jackson. That's going to be their point guard next year for sure. They got some players that can play behind him. Terrence Mann is going to be back on the team. They're going to be able to contend again. Kawhi, if he's not there, obviously they won't be contending. But if he is there, he will have a bench and some dogs ready to go and fight with him. Now, let's look at 4 players who I think took big W's because they got drafted to the perfect team for them. The first is Trey Mann out of the University of Florida. Going to Oklahoma City, not having to be that lead point guard. You can be that side point guard. You can even be the backup if you need to be. They already got SGA, so you could be that secondary point guard. You can go try to get more buckets. The OKC, they're just rebuilding. They're not focused on winning right now. They're just trying to see what they have and what everybody's ceiling is, who is going to hit their potential and who isn't. Trey Mann, that's a perfect situation for him. Just go in there, hoop. Are they going to restrict SGA next year? Probably. If they're not winning much, I'm not going to go run SGA out there every single back-to-back. You're going to be sitting out. So that means even more minutes for Tre Mann. Yes, they picked up Giddey, but I think they're going to take their time on Giddey, not focus on trying to get him to get it all together. They want him to be a superstar. So, like, let's take it slow and help you figure out how you can be the best player you can be. Tre Mann, perfect spot for you. Go get buckets. The next is Zaire Williams. Now, when the Grizzlies took him 10, there was a lot of rumbles on Twitter, a lot of people on TV that they were not happy with this pick. Personally, Zaire Williams is one of the top 10 most talented players in this draft, so it's not a surprise to me. Have you seen him get buckets? Have you seen his jumper? The size. He's not as strong, yes, but the release point on the shot creation. As long as he can get the muscle so he can finish around the rim and be able to size up bigger defenders, because he's going to be guarded by bigger defenders, he will be A-okay. He's going to be a bucket getter. Off the rip, day one, he's just going to be running in transition, learning how to play defense, catching lobs from Ja, flying with Ja on the break, hitting transition threes. They're not going to need that 20-point-per-game scorer yet. But when he puts it all together, oh, DB, just chill out. Just pass it to Zaire. He got the jumper. I promise. He really looks like a baby KD. He really looks like MPJ. We saw what MPJ looked like at his best last year. So adding that scoring element to the Grizzlies, maybe we could play JJJ at the 5 in crunch time, play him at the 4, Dylan Brooks at the 3, Desmond Bane, Ja Morant. That is a roster I love, and I don't want to play personally. Now, the next player I have is another one of the enigmas in this draft. Jalen Johnson is Ben Simmons 2.0. If you want to just put him in a nutshell, that's what he is. He needs to get the jumper right. He's got the defensive tools. He's got the playmaking. He's got the size. He might be just a tad bit slower than Ben Simmons, but he's got the size. When you're that size and that lanky and you can handle the ball, it doesn't matter. He, in transition, is going to look great with the Hawks. Can they play him at the 4 with Trey and with Clint Capella? I'm not sure. He needs to get that jumper down. Then they definitely could. Does this mean Collins is gone? Not sure, but I know as a backup point guard, he's going to be perfect. In the pick and roll, he can run that pick and roll with Collins if they end up keeping him. He's going to eat up other teams' benches. They're not going to be ready for him at all. 6'8", with that size and speed, they're not going to be ready. His quote last night was, Jalen Johnson is now my favorite player in the league because I'm in the league now. I'm a Jalen Johnson fan. Hey, if that's your quote, that's your quote. The last player I have is Jared Butler. I already told you guys he's one of my favorite players in the league, just name alone, but that he's got a nice game. And he got drafted to the Utah Jazz in the second round. Honestly, it would not shock me one bit if he was starting day one, in all honesty. Especially if Donovan Mitchell, not Davion, his former teammate. Donovan Mitchell has a say in it. We just saw how much Jared Butler contributed to that Baylor championship team. Obviously, that raised his draft stock, but rightfully so. Him and Davion Mitchell were hooping, and now he gets to play with another Mitchell. Maybe it's a match made in heaven. Who knows? They're losing Mike Conley next year, more than likely, but even if you aren't, you're not pressed to re-sign him because you got a backup point guard in your back pocket. You're good. So you don't have to go pay Mike Conley a stupid amount of money that messes you up in the future. We have a point guard. If we need to, we could throw him in today. I also said a while ago, watch out for the Jazz making moves. Could they be going younger? I don't know. But let me know who you guys think got drafted to the perfect team and who took the biggest W last night in your opinion. Hit me up in the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter at Born_Ballin_. My personal Twitter is at CHEEZ_0. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Deuces.